Hey, what's going on, the friends? My name is MChanterJason, and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Last one off, we got through the Palace of Twilight, which is our last main dungeon that we have to do in the game before taking on the final dungeon. And now in this part, we are going to... I'm not going to go to the final dungeon at all. As you can see, I'm still missing a heart piece. And that'll pretty much be it in terms of 100% of the game. Well, that's if you're playing the Gamecube version of the game, the Gamecube or Wii version. In this version, there is actually, well, basically in all versions of Twilight Princess, there is a completely optional dungeon that you can go to, which you can go to if you want, which in this version, you're gonna have to go in here if you want to get all the items, but you don't have to exactly complete everything in here in this dungeon. So you can just get whatever you need and leave the dungeon. But for the sake of showing it off, I'm going to do this entire dungeon in this part. So what you're seeing me doing right now is basically me preparing for what's going to come throughout this dungeon. And I do recommend that you come in here and get everything and prepare yourself. I went to City in the Sky, even though, well, that was the one shop I had in mind where you can get blue potions. Although I believe Malamar also has I believe Malamar also has blue potions, but and they have them for sale for a much cheaper price. But I probably wasn't really thinking at the time. I haven't really looked into that, so I bought a couple of blue potions, and then I have a fairy in a bottle, as well as some other things. I don't actually remember what my last bottle contains. So, I mean, as I'm doing post-commentary, I had this episode recorded a few months ago, and it's June 9th right now, and I'm currently post-commentating this like 3 months after I recorded the episode itself. So that's pretty much how early I recorded this game. Actually, no, I had this recorded about 2 months ago, not 3 months ago. So I was very into this game when I master recorded the heck out of this game. There's something about this game that just made me want to keep playing, and so I just kept recording more of the game. That's why I had these videos recorded so early, and I'm just now post-commentating this now. And the next few episodes of Twilight Princess of this LP is going to actually be post-commentary, because it's going to be me concluding. It's going to be me getting the rest of everything before I head on to the final dungeon, so I can conclude this LP as 100%. So it did take me a while to get to figure out where everything is on my practice file, so. Right here, I'm gonna be getting my final heart container. Right here. Actually, I take it back. You actually have to. I just remembered that if you want 100% the game, you do have to go through at least some part of this dungeon that we're about to head into, just for a few things. In this version, you have to get a lot more things. Which I believe you actually have to go through the whole dungeon, actually, now that I think about it, here in this version, the Wii U HD version, so. Anyway, so you can actually get this heart piece when you go through City of the Sky, because you need the double claw shot in order to explore what's down here. It just now came to mind at this point. So go ahead and climb down, and then we shall get our final heart piece, and at this point you should have all 20 hearts. Alright, so I recommend that, yes, you do have all 20 hearts, you do have some blue potions, a fairy, and that's pretty much it. So, and if you're even more ballsy, you can use your magic armor. so you can tank some more hits. I wouldn't recommend having Zora armor here, because you will take more damage, as there's going to be a lot of fighting. So anyway, the dungeon's right here. It's already opened up, and ironically we warped, and pretty good for us that we get to warp here. So that we actually warp right by it. So all right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cave of Ordeals. That's right. Your power is a gift given only to those with confidence to wield it. Alright, so this is the Cave of Ordeals. So the way this dungeon works is, as you can see, I killed that enemy, and guess what? The door opens. That is the whole gimmick of that is the gimmick of the dungeon. So if you are familiar with the dungeon in Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door or Super Paper Mario, where you have the Pit of 100 Trials, well, guess what? This is the game's version of the Pit of 100 Trials from those two games. So you are going to be fighting a lot of enemies, which means you are going to be taking lots and lots of damage, and this really tests your skills on how well you can fight enemies. So you are going to be doing that for every floor in the game. And in case you're wondering, there's a total of 50 floors in the game. So and every 10th floor gives you a great fairy. And yes, that is the first time in the game, or the only time in the game where you actually get to see a great fairy. In fact, for those who are really obsessive, who have really obsessive minds, you are going to like what the Great Fairy looks like in this game. So I won't spoil it just yet until we actually get there. So just letting you know that you are going to like what the Great Fairy looks like for those who have really obsessive minds. Unfortunately, Great Fairies in this game don't heal you up. So whatever condition you reach the Great Fairy at, that's the condition you're going to be going through the rest of the dungeon. And if you go through the rest of the dungeon, well, actually, I probably should not spoil that until later. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is a long dungeon. We have 50 floors of fighting. So, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about this dungeon. So, I guess enjoy the show.
understand. So what have I become? Please tell me if you can. The world is changing, spinning, breaking. I don't know who I am. You're smiling at me, pretending you can't see. Something has changed, making them insane. The pieces just don't fit. I'm broken now, so what should I try? How bitter this pain within. I'm breaking up, I'm grateful, I'm crazy but I have control. I'm searching but I know I found. I'm breaking up, I'm breakable, I'm crazy but I have control. But even still I'll never stop fighting. And you're watching the world collapse around me. You're so close but I won't let you stop searching. I don't want you to see what I've become. I can't show the world that we've all been through it. And I couldn't bear to hurt you, I want this to end. So please I'm begging, won't you leave me alone? It's better if you go. There's something deep inside of me that changes me. I can't fight the darkest end like light or fade. I won't want to know. I'm breaking up, I'm breakable, I'm crazy but I have control. I'm searching but I know I found.
Okay, we're done. Now let's see what our prize is for going through all 50 floors. Why, hello there. You cleared many ordeals. How impressive. In praise of your courage, I will give you this blessing. That's right. We get the Great Fairy Tears for all of our efforts. What it does is it refuels your health and increase your attack. That's so great. You know, I would have liked it if like you go through all that just for something that's actually very, very useful, such as maybe some defense or like permanent defense or permanent attack power. Kind of like in Link's Awakening when you go through the color dungeon. But unfortunately that is not the case here with this game. So, alright then. You must go back So for our efforts, we are taking out the dungeon. Now, one of the things I forgot to explain throughout when we were going through these when we encounter these great fairies is that every time you approach a great fairy, they will in fact put in fairies in spirit springs. So whenever you visit a spring, you'll be seeing a bunch of fairies. So then you can put them in bottles. So that way, if you die, then you will not lose. Then that way, if you die, you get revived some hearts. That is the end of the episode. Yeah, that's the Cave of Ordeals. All 50 floors. Sorry I didn't really provide much commentary throughout this episode because there's not really much to talk about. I mean, it pretty much speaks for itself. Just fighting enemies and getting through that last room before the very last great fairy really did kick my butt, as you may have saw. Probably it might have been a little hard to really tell because of how fast it was going, but yeah, I was getting myself really beat up. I actually almost died, but thankfully I made it through. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.